man? Welcome back. It's Texas Boy. You know how to come back with another banger video. And for today's video, Jorge Masvidal is coming back to the UFC after retiring and having a little small stint in boxing. As we all know, he just got through boxing Nate Diaz, and the turn of events for that we'll get down. We'll get with that later on down the line. But as for right now, Jorge Masvidal is coming back to the UFC, and he had one of the greatest retirements that you could ever ask for. He was in his home city, his home state, where he grew up, did the bare knuckle street fighting stuff with Kimbo Slice and everything back in the day before he joined Strike Force and went to fight Gilbert Melendez and got beat for the in the title fight. Gilbert Melendez kept his title fight in Strike Force in the lightweight division. So, you know, you do all this stuff for 20 years in the sport of combat, and then you have a beautiful retirement, and now, you want to come back. You have a little small stint in boxing, and now you want to come back to MMA. You rode off into the sunset. You had one of the most greatest retirements anybody could ever ask for. A lot of people, don't lose uh two in a row, or I should say three in a row, and then, lose their fourth one and go out on a bang. So if if anything, Jorge Masvidal should stay retired or keep his eye in the boxing world because you're out of your UFC contract. So why would you want to come back and get back into a contract when a lot of fighters at the end of their UFC contract have been doing a lot of complaining? And as we see with the Conor McGregor situation, 2 fights left on his contract, and look where he's at. He's not fighting. Another video, another day. But the question is, why? Why come back? You've made a little bit of money over in boxing. You've made money over the last 20 years. You're not to mention you're a promoter. You got bare knuckle MMA, game bred stuff going on. So you're your own boss, but now you want to come back and work for the UFC, fight for the UFC. They're not begging anyone to come back. Who who are they begging to come back? I'm trying to figure this out. The UFC has never begged anybody to come back. I mean, I guess Dana White, claims that he's begged, not begged, but offered godly amounts of money, which is basically money begging somebody to come back, and that's Habib, and that's about it. So if anything, Jorge needs to stay retired. But let's go back for a second and let's talk about the Nate Diaz fight. So he lost, but there's a lot of people saying that he won, and then there's the controversy of Nate Diaz not getting paid. So if Nate's claiming he didn't get paid and Jorge isn't saying anything about pay, what's what's going on with that situation? I say that situation's got to get fixed. Obviously, maybe you got paid for what you was asking, and maybe Nate thought something different. I don't know. People sign contracts, lawyers get involved. I'm not the middleman. I'm just the guy on the outside looking in, and it seems like that situation needs to get handled, but Jorge's like not speaking on it. Like he's got nothing to do with it. So if he's got nothing to do with it, why are you coming back to the UFC? And why are you saying the UFC is going to be begging you to come back to the UFC? It doesn't work like that. They don't need anybody. They didn't need Ronda Rousey anymore after she blew up, stardom, made the money. After she did what she did, they didn't need her anymore. So now it's all about they gonna be begging me to come back. You need to go in there and do what you did in the octagon to Nate in the boxing fight. So what's going on here? I don't know. If you ask me, he's looking for, money. Who is he gonna fight in boxing? Jake Paul? He gets beat by Jake Paul. It's over. Tyron Woodley's not coming back to the UFC. Nate Diaz got beat by Jake Paul. He's not coming back to the UFC. Okay. And yeah, Nate, yeah, he's not coming back. That's just not happening. They're not going to go through all that negotiation stuff with Nate showing up, not showing up. There's a lot of fun fights for Nate to have, but it's the headache. You got to think about what Dana White's got to go through. So, what does Jorge Masvidal want that is so important to him? Uh, there's a lot of people fighting for the welterweight belt. I mean, you're not gonna fight Dustin Poirier because y'all train at ATT together. So Gilbert Burns beat you. You got beat twice by Kamaru Usman, the former welterweight champion. You got beat by Colby Covington, who you snuck allegedly at a steakhouse. Y'all live like not that far from each other. But you ain't go sneak the person that knocked you out cold, Kamaru Usman. You ain't go sneak him though. Right. Okay. We're not gonna talk about that. We're not gonna talk about the alleged events. But I'm just saying you ain't go you, you ain't gonna sneak him though. So with that being said, Jorge, give it up, dog. You had a 20-year run in combat sports. You and Nate did your thing. The UFC is not gonna put that on. You don't have the BMF belt. Even if you did take a pay cut, probably they'd probably give you a pay cut and feed you to Michael Chandler, who would just knock you out cold, like Kamaru Usman did. So, with that being said, let me know what y'all think about that. Right? It's a sad deal that people got to retire and come back. They can't just stay retired like a lot of people. Joanna Jacek and all the greats out there. But let me know what you think about this video and about Jorge Masvidal coming back. Is it a paycheck? Is it a scheme? He's saying the UFC is going to be begging for him to come back. Let me know in the comments down below. More videos dropping soon. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing. And until next time, Texas Boy, I'm out.